Most of our planet is a mystery, hidden in plain sight. When you look at Google Earth, you see crisp images of cities, mountains, and deserts. But the ocean, it's just a fuzzy, blue blur. For a long time, I assumed that was because there was nothing to see out there, just empty water. But recently, a colleague tipped me off to something massive happening in that blurry blue space. It turns out there are tens of thousands of vessels out there right now, actively hiding. They press a button and they vanish from our maps. They become what investigators call dark vessels. Today, we are going to shine a light on that darkness. We are going to track them, expose what they are doing, and answer the question, who is hiding on the high seas and why? To understand this, we have to look at the traffic system of the ocean. It's called the Automatic Identification System. Think of it as air traffic control for the entire planet. By law, almost every large ship has a GPS transponder that must be turned on, broadcasting its location. If you look at a live shipping map, you see thousands of dots. It looks like we have perfect vision. But here is the catch. Look at this box. This is the actual eyes transponder on the bridge of a ship. It has an on-off switch. If a captain wants to avoid pirates, they are legally allowed to turn it off for safety. But the problem is, anyone can press that button for any reason. The second they do, they vanish. They go dark. Historically, this was a gray area. But when we layer that data over time, we see patterns. A Spanish fishing vessel approaches West Africa, boom, it disappears. An Australian ship near a marine reserve, boom, gone. They reappear days or weeks later, far from where they were supposed to be. And the question is, what are they doing during those dark hours? I started filtering this data, looking for hotspots. One area stood out immediately. The waters around the Galapagos Islands, a protected marine sanctuary belonging to Ecuador. Look at this. On the map, you see the boundary of the Galapagos Marine Reserve, and just outside that line, right up against it, you see a massive cluster of vessels. Now, look at the flags on these ships. The vast majority are Chinese. This isn't a small operation. This is the result of a massive geopolitical shift. By the 1980s, China had overfished its own coastal waters. So, the government did something unprecedented. They subsidized the construction of the largest fishing fleet in human history. We are talking about nearly 60,000 industrial vessels, accounting for almost 44% of all fishing activity on Earth. On paper, they aren't doing anything illegal. They are sitting in international waters, right on the line. But why are they there? Why hug the border so tightly unless you plan to cross it when no one is looking? This is where the investigation pivots. We can't just rely on AIs, because eyes shows us what they want us to see. To find the truth, we need to use every tool in the box. Organizations like Global Fishing Watch are now using something called multi-layer satellite detection. First, night squid boats use massive lights to attract their catch. Satellites can see these lights from space, even if the eyes is off. Second, radar. Radar can detect large metal objects on the surface, regardless of weather or time of day. And finally, optical imagery, high-res photos from space. When we overlay the eyes data with the radar data in the Galapagos, the picture changes dramatically. The area that looked clean and legal on the eyes map suddenly lights up with radar detections. Ships are inside the protected zone. They turned off their public tracker, thinking they were invisible, but they left a shadow on the radar. This proves that going dark isn't just about avoiding pirates. It's a tactic used to fish illegally in protected waters. For years, this kind of detective work was manual, looking at one ship, one image at a time. But now, with machine learning, we can process this globally, and the results are staggering. Global Fishing, which found that between 72 and 76% of all industrial fishing activity on the planet is untracked by public cisterns. Think about that. The vast majority of the world's fishing happens in the dark. We used to think this was a fringe problem, a few bad actors. But when 75% of an industry is operating invisibly, it stops being an exception and starts being the norm. And when you operate in the dark, it enables the worst behavior: environmental destruction, theft from local economies, and a supply chain that is completely opaque. It fosters a system where rules are for suckers and accountability is a myth. This isn't just about fish. It's about a breakdown of order on the high seas. So, where does all this fish go? It gets loaded onto massive refrigerated motherships, taken back to processing hubs, and mixed with legally caught seafood. Its origin is effectively washed away, and then it ends up on our plates. That cheap calamari at a restaurant, the tuna in your sandwich at S. Almost impossible to know if it came from a vessel that respected the law or one that operated in the shadows. We started with a fuzzy blue map, but by using data, satellites, and machine learning, we can pierce that veil. We can see that the ocean isn't empty. It's crowded with activity we aren't supposed to see. Solving this won't happen by sending police boats into the vast Pacific. It will happen by continuing to build better eyes in the sky. It will happen by making the invisible visible. If you want to see more investigations like this and actually be part of the process, check out the link in the description. We are building a new way to do journalism that goes beneath the surface. Thanks for watching.